Hi there, everybody. I'm Foxxyboi. I'm sitting here with Linksy. Linksy, tell us a little bit about the preparations you've been doing for your Club Fin set.
Oh man. Uh it's been a hellish one, surprisingly. I've made at least 3 versions of this set, 15 plus different playlists, all different to each other. Um I was never happy with making this set, but
Oh,
I I found out that I found out recently, um that I enjoyed a certain mixing style, and I have to shout out to Jahari for opening my eyes up again. Um, it's just to let people enjoy the music more than me having to mix it around and play with multiple tracks. Um, mentally, when I was making this mix, it pretty much drained on me, and it sort of made me feel like I had to do something bit more special, bit more important, um, than what I usually do. So the end result you'll get to see is um, something that I could really just dance to, instead of listening to 40 plus or 50 plus tracks that I can jam in to 1 hour. Um, it's cool, but why why would you do it? And like, why would you do it when you're sacrificing the enjoyment for others? Um,
quality over quantity.
yeah, no, that's right. I I used to play that like a very long time, and that was my main focus until a couple weeks ago.
So, how long did it take you to do this set, or at least prepare for the set, hours wise?
Hours wise, geez, you'd be talking about 100 plus hours for sure.
Oh
Just
my!
painstakingly picking out stuff, and there'd be breaks in between, but you wouldn't. I would never want to use this sort of method again. Um,
So, what
not
method
because
are
not
you using?
well. Here's the thing. It's I used to mix or make my playlists as I go along. Um, with this current mix that I made, um, I pretty much had to stitch like 2, 3 individual parts together, and there was this one remaining part that I was never happy about. Um, I found ways to figure it out, but in the end, I did have to dial it back just a little, but only for the fact that I could enjoy it more.
So what has been your experience in DJing and then subsequently the VR DJing scene?
So I've been DJing for about 2 odd years, well, 2-ish odd years. Um, I've played for most of the common furry VR clubs. So places like Placeholder Club or Vibe Night, Flooftooth. Flooftooth's a big one for me. Um, and also attended some IRL cons. So I did Midwest Fur Fest back in
Mm.
22, as well as Tales of Terror and Fodu. Those are 2 Aussie fur cons over here.
So tell me more about your experience within the VR DJing club scene.
Oh, um, I've generally had about 2.5 years experience, about two and a half. Um, but I played mostly for the VR furry clubs. So places like Vibe Night, Floof Placeholder Club, um, many others, and also attended IRL cons. So Midwest Fur Fest in 2022, and Tales of Terror, as well as Furdu recently. Also, just being invited to go and help out with judging for Furality, since I'm one of the DJ judges, so it sort of helps boost my experience a little.
Hmm. And so, you say you've only been DJing for a couple of years, and it sounds like you got into VR and started DJing in VR. So, what was some of your inspirations to start DJing? Was it going to a club scene in here, or what?
Uh, Geez, I look up to a lot of people. Um, Few people to just mention off the bat. Is F.Y.N.N, DefCon. Well, that's his alter name. That's his
Sure.
and and Valent as well.
Mm.
Just two big people inside the furry VR club scene that you know that really stuck out to me. Also, just managing to meet them maybe at the worst of times, and bringing me back to music is was probably one of the best things that really happened. Um, just took my focus off life for a bit. Um, but yeah, no, I used to be in the clubbing scene many years ago. It's only it's only back in what 2020 where I started to come back and thought may as well try DJing for a bit. Um, and seems to be successful. I'm here. I'm here after all. Um, and working with Valent, um, who's a very well known drum and bass DJ. Um, it was always sweet to just sort of hang out and sort of find mashups that we could do. Well, not that I could do at that time, but that he could do. Um, and seeing that end result on a stage was pretty massive to me. It's something that I wanted.
Yeah, Valent is one of my favorite bullet train looking people out here in the VR scene.
Yes.
So um, tell us a little bit about maybe some of the techniques you've learned either through Valent or on your own,
Oh,
and talk about specifically the techniques you are utilizing for your set at the Club Fin.
sure. So generally, I've been doing a lot of four-channel mixing. Um, a lot of focus on doubles and triples, but recently, with stems being the main focus in software and in some hardware, I've generally leaned to that for this Rowdy mix. And stems is more so that you can isolate certain parts of the track. Um, so either it's vocals or instruments or even drums, for that matter. Um, and you can mix it with another track to make it sound fairly unique. Um, and it just cleans everything up so that you don't have areas clashing with each other. It's been just a really big help um, to create this mix and sort of make it sound make it flow really nice. Generally just a really good thing for newer DJs to sort of pick up and learn, because the old style of mixing is much more difficult than what it is now.
Talk to me about some of the hardware and software you use to make your mixes. Oh, and I have been requested by a friend of mine. They're a shark. They want to know what kind of headphones you have as well.
Oh, sure, I can do that. Um, so for my DJ deck, I use a DDJ 1000 from Pioneer or Alpha Theta, whatever you want to call it. It's been with me for about a year now, and I can't see any replacements for it just yet. It's it's been a really true workhorse for me, and it it's very comfortable. Also with the headphones, for me, I've got two sets, and generally one specifically for DJing, one for helping out with mixing and mastering audio. Um, on the DJ side, I use something called HDJ-CX, and they're from Pioneer, but they're very bare bones as to what they look like, but their response and um, isolation is really good. Probably one of the best that I've seen for DJ use. And as for mastering and playing around with audio, um, it's been the DT 880 Pros. Um, they're just semi-open headphones from Bear Dynamic, and they're really good headphones for o- for spatial audio. You get the best of closed back and open back. It's really good.
And how about the software?
Oh, sure. Um, and look, I might as well break down what sort of softwares I use. And that goes back to all the way back to sourcing. Um, I generally use Spotify for finding new tracks as well as SoundCloud. But for purchasing and download, I always stick to Beatport as much as I can, um, just to get the best quality audio. Um, when it comes to processing that audio, I generally stick to Audacity and Mixed In Keys. Both pretty good tools, um, to either detect my keys for each track, or even process the audio down to smaller files like uh, .wavs to .mp3s or .flacs. Um, and then the main bulk of my mixing, the final sort of area that you'll really get to see is virtual DJ. It's been a main staple for many people, and it's very common, um, commonly known. Um, but really great tool, highly customizable, um, and there's still a lot to learn for me to sort of process it.
What is a piece of advice you could give to someone looking to start DJing?
So something that I've sort of recently seen, um, is people not understanding song structures in their genre of music. Um, it doesn't really get talked about a lot because it should be simple. You've got drops in a track, and you've got intros and breakdowns and outros, but not understanding what kind of song you're playing with, or what kind of genre you're really playing with, can make that difference. Um, and generally helps with building confidence in yourself to mix more, or mix in a better flow. Um, generally, the way I put it is that once you start playing a track and it hits that drop, you've only got 30 seconds or so to make that next song. Um, and if you haven't loaded it, or you haven't really thought about it, you've got to work on your instincts. And generally, you can, with that sort of knowledge, you can read what kind of track you're playing and understand where you want to go, with that mix. Um, and I think the best thing is that you end up with a mix that doesn't really contrast at all. It just blends well together, and no one would think otherwise. Um, Surely it doesn't work for all genres. There's probably a few out there like funk, or uh, it doesn't work for all genres. Um, but it works for most of the common genres that you see in VR clubs and IRL clubs in general.
Well, thank you once again, Linksy, for being here with me, and thank you all for watching. We will see you next time. Goodbye.